Formula One is a never-ending battle for supremacy. The teams compete to get the most sponsorship, the best technology, the most championship points. And yet they're bound together by mutual self-interest. Their war, skillfully marketed, has made a lot of people extremely rich.
There are more millionaires per square yard in a Formula One paddock than anywhere else in the world.
It's not easy to gatecrash the party.
It's basically been the same guys running it for the last 20, 25 years, and they've got a system, and they've got a cake, and they've got the cake sliced up in nice segments, and they really go out of their way to make sure that those segments don't get any smaller, and that the cake remains as large and as rich as they can possibly make it.
You know, it's not a democracy. It's a community, but it's not a democracy. And the guy who really runs the sport is Bernie.
Let's get all the cars back into the pits and change tyres. All the cars back into the pits and change the tyres. Come on.
Formula One is run by one of the world's greatest salesmen, Bernie Ecclestone, who started off selling second-hand motorbikes and motor cars and has become such a fabulously rich man. I think a lot of people are intimidated by Bernie, there's no doubt about that, and I think that's how he's got his way.
Well, luck you've got a discount because everyone gets good and bad luck. It's like playing roulette, you know? So I think you need to throw that away.
Soon after he bought the Brabham team in 1971, Bernie Ecclestone became secretary of the Formula One Constructors Association, known as FOCA. The organisation had been set up to represent the British garagistes. Ecclestone bound the teams together against the bargaining power of the Continental Works teams. In 1978, he became chief executive of FOCA. 3 years later, after a turf war with the governing FIA, he gained the right to negotiate TV contracts. He tightened his grip on the sport in 1987 by becoming an FIA vice president. He recently secured the commercial rights to Formula One for the next 100 years. He shares the spoils with the team bosses. Exactly how the cake gets carved up is highly secret. Now, Bernie Ecclestone's entrepreneurial genius has enticed the world's most powerful companies onto his merry-go-round of money, publicity, and cutting-edge technology. Having succeeded in turning Formula One into a truly global product, he might have endangered the British garagiste culture that he set out to protect.
Nothing is forever. And I think that you can already see Britain's dominance, which at one stage was overwhelming, beginning to erode. What's happened now is that big manufacturers, car manufacturers, have moved into Formula One in a big way.
BMW is one of the biggest. The Bavarian giant joined forces with Williams in 1998. The company's 5-year commitment to Formula One won't leave it much change from $1 billion. Having made that kind of investment, the chances are that BMW will want to follow its rival, Mercedes, and buy a permanent stake in a top Formula One team.
The centre of gravity is no longer in Britain like it used to be. And the money, which is coming from the big manufacturers, is in a sense dragging it geographically slowly to other places, to France, to Germany, to Japan.
It's not a natural situation, the position of cars being produced in England, and I would say it's quite heavily under threat at the moment. Nobody should sit comfortably thinking that Formula One exists in England and that we're the best at it.
I think that maybe what we should reflect on is that that period from 1960 to, let's say, 2000 was a very exceptional period where Britain, this small area of Britain, was responsible for sort of 90% of motor racing cars. And that era is now being eroded. That era is over, and it's shifting to other places. How quickly and so on? Well, who knows? That's a question that one can only speculate about.